Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 756 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda, and joining me on the weird musical instrument is Chris DeBona.
Hello.
And Rob Roseboom.
I have no music.
I have a tenorion. This is
I have
like a
this.
small version of a tenorion. These are Orba. What do you have?
Oh, I have a... And then I have... And I have... Those are my 3 test sound effects.
Mm.
So, Rob, you voted. Chris, did you vote?
Yeah. No, we do mail-in voting here.
Yeah.
We're a civilized country.
I have the title today flagged as Election Day, so I guess both people in Discord remember to vote. That's my next stop.
Well, you're assuming they're even Americans. I don't know if other countries have elections today.
I mean, none as fair and democratic.
Do we have any British elections?
Maybe. But none as fair as us. I mean, at the end of our election, you either decide that the Republicans won or somebody cheated.
Yeah.
I tell you,
what kills me is that interview with Carrie Lake where she's like, "If I win, it's because we had so many votes, we overwhelmed the cheaters," and I'm like,
"We outvoted the fraud."
Outvoted the fraud.
Hey, good on you, man.
Criminals.
Do that. I'll definitely do it. But I got to drive a family member, so when we're done here, that's my next stop.
I have a theory that Arizona is so hot that it sort of cooks your head, and so you lose some capacity.
Like mental capacity? Like Arizona makes you dumb?
No, it literally cooks you.
Oh.
So your brain becomes.
I'll check.
I think that's where zombies will come from first, is Arizona and New Mexico, because it gets so dang hot.
All right then. Well, let's see.
I don't know. I think they'll dry out there.
We ended last time with the Pantone story, and I actually did find a little bit more about the Pantone story. I just wanted to say the way that this is actually working now is if you made a file, like an image like 10, 20 years ago with Pantone color codes in it, and you try to load it, now all the colors show up black unless you pay $15.
No.
So yeah, it's totally like an extortion.
Per month.
Well, you got to pay. I mean, I assume you could pay for 1 month, print out your stuff, or save it in a different color or something if you wanted. But like, I guess ultimately I don't fault them for wanting to make money going forward, but it seems awfully garbage to go back and like say, hey, this file that I loaded, like imagine if all of your RTF files that you have in some directory or somehow you can't load now without paying $15. That's not cool.
Yeah.
We also had, we'll Twitter out Last Lettuce. So
yeah, I hadn't seen that. That's pretty funny.
I mean, I don't think it's actually like doing anything interesting yet. I think it was just a joke. I think it's. I don't know. It is generating live.
Well, it's when you load it, it loads the screenshot.
Well,
I mean the image.
It's not a YouTube live stream.
What's with the foot? My question is, this is a lot of stuff going on. We've got a trans flag because of Foon, which is nice, and we've got this. I have to admit, this is not my style of pottery.
Oh, I have several dishes that are very like that because a member of my
I'm
household
just not a fan
of
this whole sort of like starburst.
Square plate.
Yeah, I like square plates. Nothing wrong with square plates. All right, listen, I'm not anti-square.
It's the glazing that you don't like.
It's the glazing,
the color transition glazing. So,
and also, he seemed like he had like some decision problems with the eyes.
I did a lot of ceramics in college, and if you wander through my house, you will find a great number of very mediocre vases and cylinders and plates and such that I made. I like that style. That style's fun because it's you're playing with chaos, and you hope it turns out, and it usually doesn't.
Yeah,
and that's why everything that looks good in my house, my wife made.
Surely the lettuce will die before Twitter. I mean, let's be clear.
I don't.
Twitter may be on the path to ruin, but not tomorrow or this week or this month.
Well, the fastest death that we kind of ever saw in the history of the internet would be Dig, right? And that still took like a year or two before it blew up. And I
think it's still running. You know that, right?
Well, given that I was working at the company that bought it for a while there, I could tell you some stories.
Wait. The same company that bought
no,
Dig?
More complicated than that. The Washington Post acqui-hired their engineering team. Yeah.
And they invested in Reddit too. They were all over the place.
They were all over the place. And Don Graham was on the Facebook board of directors for years.
Don Graham,
the CEO, and a legit good guy.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. I took that job because I liked him a lot. Well, let's see. We've got Microsoft getting sued now over the GitHub Copilot thing. We briefly started talking about that I think like a week ago, but now it's all officially out and about. They are, if I'm understanding this correctly, and Chris, you have a whole different set of opinions because you're connected to it. My outsider opinion is they're just doing exactly what deepfakes are doing, Dolly and all those. They're just doing it with source code, and they're taking off copyright notices, which is exactly what they were doing for images too.
The thing is, there's a very simple answer, right? You restrict yourself to permissive only libraries, and you ship the attribution. That's it. You just stick it in an attribution file. So when someone's coding, they say, this code contains pieces from blah. I mean, very, very simple, right? If you do that, you can do all this stuff, right?
But then don't you inherit, you can't do it with the GPL, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it with the GPL just because then you also have to share source code and there's implications there.
Implications, good word.
That said, the thing about Microsoft, they own this website. Oh, what's it called?
GitHub.
GitHub's terms of service says you allow GitHub and its owner rights to perform, display software you upload to the site. So the people with standing to sue may only be those people who A, don't have a GitHub account and never agreed to the terms of service.
Oh, interesting.
Have registered their copyright with the federal government. And have, the answer could be Microsoft says, well, somebody uploaded your source code without permission. So the actual person at fault is the GitHub user who uploaded your library as part of their program.
But that's got to be a relative rarity, right?
Well, this is the thing. I think that finding people with standing is going to be very, very difficult.
Right.
And on top of that, Microsoft's answer could be, well, so this user uploaded this library they didn't have rights to. So we're going to remove it from the corpus, and the judge is going to be like, well, okay. And that's going to take 9 years.
Oh, for sure.
If so ever. It's just like, I mean, and the thing is, by then they'll probably have figured out attribution files, and the rest. But yeah, no, this is a really challenging case to bring. It's very showy and newsy, but I wouldn't want to litigate it.
Well, it's no different than any of the other ones, right? I mean, if you're generating an image based on the painting style of another,
this discussion of, okay, is it illegal? Can someone own a style?
Well, but that's the same thing with code.
Probably not.
That's the same thing as code. If you're taking 3 lines of code, because that's not
what's a unique work,
right? That's not the way that this works.
That's another 5 years of deliberation.
Exactly.
I mean, it took us 14 years to do the Oracle case, and that was about literally function declarations, right? And we discovered that it was indeed both copyrightable, but also fair use to use them as we did. So it's like, this was 14 years. So, and the thing is, Microsoft, they got tons of lawyers, right? And they're making less and less from their patents. So their lawyers are sitting around going, oh, this is great. This is a meaty case that we can work on for the next 14 to 15 years. Meanwhile, their developer, people are like, yeah, let's just let's pull out the GPL stuff, leave only permission stuff, start building an attributor. Boom. They ship that in a year.
That's the thing, right? If you just filter it to like BSD and a couple of other of the common licenses, you still have enough data to do the job.
Exactly.
But that's still,
this is just showy lawsuits. It's not going to do anything.
Well, it's showy lawsuits to a certain extent, but also it's just digging the moat deeper to make sure that you have more hoops to jump through in order for competitors to enter the space.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I actually think is kind of damaging about this lawsuit is they're bringing up the California Consumer Privacy Act. And one of the things that we've always asserted with open source code is when you release it and you release it with your name attached or your email address attached or your GitHub signature attached, that's not personally identifiable information that you've involuntarily shared, right? True. And so they're saying that this is part of that too. And I'm like, you guys have got to be really careful, that these laws don't hurt open source in general. Because if people can't, because on one side we're asking people to stand behind their code and be responsible for their code, sign their code, all this stuff, right, around open source security and reliability and reproducibility. And then we're also saying, but if you attach your name, you can't release it, or you can release it, but no one else can look at it. And it's like, well,
Yep.
open source licenses are about using, modifying, distributing, etc. So
Remember when things were generally pretty easy and people were just generally nice about this sort of thing?
actually, this is what winning feels like. I know it sounds terrible. It's like, open source is so powerful. It's so remarkable, and it's everywhere. So now you have people who are like, but what about this? What about that? And it's like,
But what about the fact that you don't have to respect the rules anymore because everything runs on the cloud? So
well,
whatever. It's
boy,
almost like the whole thing became moot.
well, yeah, there's some of that too, and there's a lot of
I
people
have a
who
little
are
more
bad
cynicism.
actors. There's a lot of people who are bad actors, but
Oh, for sure.
at the same time, these are the problems you have when you are in the dominant market position, which a lot of open source, frankly, is.
That's
So,
true. Well, good on them, I guess.
Us. Come on.
I haven't
You,
written a
me,
line of GPL
Rob.
code in
Since
20
Slash code?
years. Probably. Well, let's see. We have a VR headset that will
Oh, we
actually
do.
kill you.
Oh, nice. How does it kill you? Does it get too hot or
Was
light
this
on
the one that
fire?
had like little bombs on the front, or it looked like
Yeah,
I looked at the picture. I didn't read the article. This is Rob's.
it has explosives on it.
Even better.
Wait, what?
So, yeah.
Put it up for us,
Explosives.
Chris. There we go. Scroll down a little. Yeah, it's got like those
What
cylinders. So those are like
crap.
Yeah. So like I said when I posted this, mostly, I mean, this is obviously a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's an art piece, but I wondered when they redid the Deer Hunter, if instead of the Russian roulette scenes, this is what they use. He's like, let me play my game. And he puts on the VR headset and sees if he can survive another level, and people bet on it. I bet that's what's going to happen. So they can make it more modern, make it better for a new audience.
Is Lucky still like involved with Oculus? I don't know who's left there since
No,
the
he
Facebook
left a long
thing.
time ago. He's running a company called Anduril, making drones for border patrol and for the military. So shooty things.
So yeah, I don't know. He's got to have some feelings about Facebook. I mean,
they gave him $2 billion.
That's
I
true.
think his feelings are likely, oh, that was all right.
Probably fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing compared to what they're going to have to kill all the engineers they're going to fire this week.
Biggest mistake of my life.
What, sell onto Facebook for $2 billion?
Taking that $2 billion.
Right? Man, I wish somebody would have offered me $2 billion. Let's see.
Well, him and Notch hanging out, Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like, on one side, Palmer Luckey, he's kind of a wackadoo, right? It's kind of like Notch, he turned out to kind of be a wackadoo,
right?
But I don't begrudge him Oculus. I don't begrudge Notch Minecraft. I mean, yeah.
Sometimes wackadoos make cool stuff.
Yeah.
So the Dungeons and Dragons movie, The Honor Among Thieves. Okay, it was released. The delay was released.
Wait, they
Hold
released
on.
it?
No, the release date was delayed. Who's gonna make the joke? Rob. Rob's gonna make the joke.
Let Rob make it. I'm not sure which joke to make.
Oh, the joke that every single headline related to Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves being delayed, every single one has made the same joke, which is they are so committed to realistically representing Dungeons and Dragons that the only way that they could do that accurately was to delay the release and reschedule.
Okay, I get it.
Because Dungeons and Dragons is hard to schedule.
Yeah, and people are late or they don't show up.
This does not look like a good movie.
I don't know. I liked the trailer. They had Mimic. They had cool ass dragons. I mean, the worst thing about it actually was Chris Pine. He just looks like somebody brought a board of wood along.
So have you guys watched Vox Machina?
Oh gosh,
no, I don't think so.
But I have seen it in my queues, and I thought, that looks interesting.
Oh, you've never watched the anime or the cartoon? It's so give it a watch. I imagine that this is what that is trying, or this is what it is trying to be. Vox Machina is pretty entertaining and a pretty good representation of what it is like to actually play D&D with a little bit of nonsense thrown in, because you have to crank up the nerd part of D&D in every representation on TV. Although, like the group I play with, like we're all on time
You're
for the most
adults.
part, screw around like that. Like none of those things we do. But I understand that that's the stereotype. Anyway, check it out.
All right,
I will.
which blumper is this on?
I think it's Amazon.
Okay,
Yeah, it's Amazon, and they just renewed it for season 3.
cool.
And it has the gal who was briefly enamored with Chris Evans in one of the movies. So there you go.
Well, while we're on TV shows, Westworld season 5 officially canceled.
And I'm okay with that. I think they ended perfect. Like that last season,
I thought it
was
was
okay.
I thought last season was great. I thought they set up a really
they could have
cool
done another
finale.
one, but I think it's okay to stop.
Yeah, I'd rather end on season 4 than season 3.
Yeah, right. Woof.
But the funny thing about that is that they have to pay the whole cast. They had renewed their contracts, so they're all getting paid regardless. Okay, that's awesome. Good for them.
Yeah.
We get to talk about cornhole?
Well, I mean, we are the specialist podcast about unusual cheating in games.
In Midwestern recreational activities.
Cornhole. Baggate.
How did Rob, is this one yours? How did he cheat?
Well, it turns out the bean bags
in the cornhole world.
The bean bags he was using were not the correct size. They were actually slightly smaller.
What?
Well, that's cheating.
Right?
He wasn't using a regulation size bag.
He was
this
not
is like
using
the
a
Deflategate all over again.
Yes. But the people who complained, they also were not using regulation size bags. So
it
great.
seems
Meanwhile, Lopez claimed, I don't know how they became illegal size. We did not boil the bags.
It seems like that's the sort of thing that there should just be one box of bags that everybody shares.
I don't know. This is about, robot wars size audiences. I mean, this is real.
I have a family member.
That the Washington Post dispatched a photographer, Logan Cyrus, for the Washington Post via Getty.
I have a family member who's really, really good at cornhole. I wonder how he feels about it. I am terrible at it.
They've tainted cornhole. They've tainted fishing.
Yeah.
If they come and take away our competitive lumberjack events here in Michigan, I don't know what we're going to do for fun on the weekends.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Because skeet shooting was canceled a long time ago.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And whenever Dick Cheney shot that guy in the face, then we all decided to stop that, right?
Yeah. No, I have opinions, but yeah, it's wait, they canceled what though before Dick Cheney got it? He didn't get canceled.
No, I was being sarcastic.
They canceled skeet shooting. Was there like a clay pigeons that were going too slow?
I don't think they actually canceled skeet shooting. I just think that skeet shooting is probably put on the tainted list because it involves guns.
The clays they were using were 4 inches too big. So.
They were not organic.
They weren't artisanal clays. Yeah. All right.
We got who had the in and out signet ring? That's a weird one.
That was mine. So
that's some bling, man.
Yeah. So the Real is a site that sells, clothes and jewelry and that kind of thing. And my wife found this, and she's like, "In and out. Say what you will. They know how to take care of their employees." And I'm like,
that can't be real.
It is. It turns out there's also a gold one out there.
What? Dude, how many years do you have to work for that?
A lot of them. But you can see over here, the inside is the In and Out palm trees logo. Scratch against your finger, But I mean, this is, a 1990. I figure, the thing is, up until 1990, In and Out was largely just the family members. So a family member would pop up and said, "Hey, I could open one up in, some town or whatever." And that's how they spread from Los Angeles throughout California and then into Nevada and
okay, but
states,
is this website is this a one of a kind item, or is this they just sell these and you can go buy them for all your friends?
No. This is a one of a kind.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and you can find other signet rings out there that have gone through estate sales and that kind of thing. Like there's a gold one from the late 90s floating around. But yeah, when she saw this, she was like, "Wow, look at that! That's something."
Man, I wish I had a cool signet ring.
Well, it's like, there used to be a whole thing where it's like, when somebody hits a certain tenure, they would get a gold watch or whatever. And people don't really do that anymore. And I'm like, man, that'd be cool. Imagine like a Google ring when I hit 20 years or something, or
we got
a Slashdot ring when you hit 10.
We got some sweet swag for the 10 years, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Do you get to keep the car or something? Or
I might not be.
Yeah, like the Slashdot car could show up on a real rip, probably not, but yeah. No. Did you ever try to track down the Slashdot car?
I think the last time that I saw a new photo of it was like maybe 5 years ago. So maybe like 5 or 7 years ago, it still existed, but I don't think it. I mean, it can't exist anymore, right? It's 20-year-old PT Cruiser.
Do you have the VIN? Maybe we can find it in like VinWiki or something.
I don't.
Yeah, because you have this 2014 sighting.
But it was just a sticker. I mean, it has to have been peeled off by now, right?
Well, probably flaked off,
Yeah. So the U.S. Air Force spent 2 hours drawing a naughty thing in front of Russian military facilities. Who is there a picture in this article to show it? I didn't look yet.
There is. Someone plotted the course.
So it's one of those plots.
Name for a strong.
Turn off sound.
Was that you or me?
That was me. I was trying to find the image.
There you go. There's the wing wang.
Oh.
Right between Cyprus and Lebanon.
That's great. You know what I have to do now, though, is screenshot it so I have a thumbnail. That'll be too small to show up on the thumbnail.
Do you want me to zoom down into it?
Yeah, zoom in. Let's get a really, and then everybody like open your mouth and do like a excited face.
No, I'm not gonna do that. There you go. There's your screenshot.
There we go. Well, good. Oh, there you go. That's much closer. That's funny. I like that kind of trolling a lot better.
I'm wondering who the red thing on there is. The no call sign guy.
I like when we troll like that, and a lot more than when we troll by murdering people.
Yeah, it's really.
I know it's controversial to say things like that.
I mean, give penis a chance, right?
That's right. Okay, so we got some funny ones left. The playable accordion. Some mad lad decided to.
Oh, I thought this was adorable.
It's great.
This guy. It's obviously to celebrate the Weird Al biopic coming out.
Well, I was going to mention that last, but let's we can get into that next. This nice fellow built so it actually is playing off the SID chips, right?
I did not know that.
I was assuming, otherwise why would you do that with the C64? But now I was saving to like talk to you guys.
The website's toast. So.
Well, never mind then. He's very proud of himself.
Oh, there it is.
It's an accordion. I thought that it was something about the SID chips, but I didn't want to read that one because I wanted to enjoy it and discover it with you guys.
Yeah, it is a program.
Yeah. You play the function keys. Good for that guy. He did the work.
That's terrific. Good for him. There's a YouTube of it. I will share it in the channel.
Excellent. We also have the grave of, well, let's Weird Al while we're on the subject of accordions.
I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait.
Well, I watched it last night, and it gets several thumbs up from me and from everybody in my household.
I bet it's great.
It is
how this thing works.
Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. It's cool, man. No, it's super fun. It was absolutely not what I was expecting.
Yeah, for sure. It was not what I was expecting, and I, unlike you, am not a fan of the movie UHF.
Oh,
it's not good.
Well, it doesn't even. I don't think it mentioned UHF.
No, it didn't at all.
Smart.
It was delightful, is what I think. It was not at all what I thought. There were the beginning parts. There were some parts in the very beginning of that movie that literally made me laugh out loud.
Oh yeah,
with him interacting with his parents.
Yep. It was giving me Dewey Cox vibes, and some Spinal Tap vibes too. Didn't Michael McKean have like a brief cameo in there too?
Yeah, there were so many cameos.
It was
in the
all cameos.
The 90s party scene was full of
the pool party thing where you're just like, every single person you're trying to like, okay, that's that guy, that's that guy. Every single person is like a funny parody and usually a cameo of somebody of well-renowned. It's charming. And Weird Al has a part in it himself, and he plays a really good part. And they do it effectively, and they never
I saw that
break.
clip. That was pretty great.
Top recommendations.
Yeah, I can't really tell you what happens in it because it'll give away the movie pretty much. But it was not what I thought it was going to be, but absolutely perfect for Weird Al.
Yeah.
And I will say the without spoiling too much, the bit with Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah,
was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
I mean, every, yeah. I don't know how you do that better. Like they had, that was clearly a labor of love, and very much a tribute to that format of movie,
right?
And very.
There are scenes from almost every rock and roll movie I can think of that were parodied and put in that movie.
We were trying to explain, we were watching it with the 13-year-old and trying to explain to him, no, see, what they're saying doesn't actually matter. This is what they mean. You just have to understand that this has been in 50 other movies.
The only thing that I really wasn't feeling is the whole sort of towards the end storyline where he has to go and find his love interest without ruining too much.
Yeah.
Where they try to get too actiony in that.
Like the John Wick sequence?
Yes. It was fine, but...
Yeah. I can understand. I guess I understand why they did it, but that's where they jumped off of the rails of the thing they were parroting, and it kind of slipped a little far into like UHF, right? Where they're just kind of parroting it for the sake of the parody. All right, Chris is back. And Weird Al was dead the whole time.
Yeah.
He wasn't unmuted. Are you back?
I'm back.
And Weird Al was dead the whole time. Oh,
amazing.
Yep. Let's see. We have the Dobby grave. That was cute.
Oh, that was pretty adorable.
Is that the real set from the movie? Like they saved it?
It's the location.
Because that looks really nice.
I admit I don't know. Yeah, it was hand painted rocks and socks. But like local environmental folks are like, you're killing the birds, right?
All right, so this is more of a fan installation, and not the real.
Site. It's the site where he was.
It's not the real location where they really buried Dobby.
Yeah, I was going to say this is clearly not Dobby's actual grave.
Yeah, I mean he was buried under J.K. Rowling's front stoop, right?
Oh, careful. No, I figured that they bury him next to Jim Morrison's grave, since that place is pretty much always being ruined, right?
That's in Paris, right?
Yeah. And like, isn't it? It's always got stuff on it. The last one that I had on the list was how are we gonna save movie theaters, guys? AMC is going to be renting movie theaters for you to do Zoom calls in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do something with the space, I guess, right?
Yeah. But that said, I mean, maybe that's how we should do Geeks in Space sometime.
From the AMC down the road.
There's no AMC near me, but I'd be willing to make a little bit of a drive to be able to Zoom with my buddies on like a 1,000-inch screen.
I mean, I have sympathy for AMC. It sucks to have your business just kind of go away, but
yeah,
it's
a whole thing, man. I was bummed because I was trying to
Zoom with your friends on a 190-foot screen,
right? Well, I wanted to try to get 20 people to rent out a theater again for Wakanda Forever, and I couldn't find a way to do that on the website. Now they might have got wise to that.
Interesting.
Because if you brought 25 people in there, everybody's going pretty cheap.
I guess Black Adam is out. Did you guys go see that?
No, but I was thinking maybe this week. I've been stupid busy the last couple of weeks. And I didn't have a car. Now I have a car again, so I can go to movies again. I'm excited for Let's see. That was the last thing on my list. Anybody else? We already did Weird Al. We got anything else we want to cover before we say goodbye? Go vote.
No, I
Yeah.
I started watching that Guillermo del Toro horror anthology that's on Netflix.
Oh, that looked cool.
Because I'm a huge fan of his style and most of his movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I have to do a little bit of digging into it because it's a little underwhelming. It's fine. You know, I don't know. You can't really expect a whole lot from a horror anthology, right? But yeah, I don't know. I think they probably had a better run on Tales from the Crypt than some of these. And a lot of the stories seem to be like stories like that are just remakes of stuff. Like there's one in particular that is almost exactly the same as the movie Graveyard Shift by Stephen King. So it's weird.
I feel like at this point, after like whatever 35 seasons of The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, all of the major tropes of sort of horror movies have been done as like a segment on a Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors. And I feel like if you're gonna spin up like a new season of Twilight Zone or whatever, a full third of your content is probably going to be something that has already been done as a Simpsons parody.
There are just so many ways, you know, you can go ahead and rend a human body or stab it or mutilate it, right? I mean, there's just so many ways you can die, and there are 10,000 horror movies. So yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do a monkey paw. We're gonna do a stuck in a parallel dimension. We're gonna do, you know, was a ghost the whole time.
Cabinet of Curiosities.
But if you can have really cool monsters and a fun performance,
I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just not great.
They have a lot of that. I'm looking at the people who are in it, and I'm like, none of these are bad. They're. It's nice to see them again, but you're not like, oh, they got that person to do it.
Like, maybe I just got spoiled
it's
because
it's like they got Ron, they didn't get Harry. You know, it's like they. Yeah. So.
I might have just got spoiled because I liked Barbarian so much.
Barbarian was so good.
I'm looking forward to that. I haven't watched it yet.
So good.
I'm really busy here.
Me too, man. I'm sick of being busy, and I don't even really have a lot to do.
Yeah, you don't even have a life.
Oh, I'm useless, and I'm still busy.
Yeah, it's weird.
Have you thought of being like less useless?
Maybe you'd be less busy then.
Yeah, sure. I gotta finish figuring out. Well, now I figured out my last poll, my last ballot item.
This is a family podcast. Can we not talk about polls?
We already had a giant picture of a phallus drawn by a.
But that was done by the Air Force, which is an American military thing. So that's okay.
That was military wang.
And you could only see that on the map. In real life, that phallus is the size of Cyprus. There's no way you could tell what it was.
That's true. Yeah. Plus, normally people don't see like through time like that. Maybe that's what those interstellar aliens can see. Like they can travel through their weird bookcase and see through time, and they can see those phalluses. So maybe they were just trolling those fourth dimensional beings.
I mean, maybe.
Seems unlikely. All right, folks. Let's say goodbye to the internet and goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
Goodbye, internet.
Goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
I was Rob Commander Takamalda. Oh, bye, Rob.
Are you guys going to launch me into space?
Bye. Don't forget to breathe and vote.